let's see what our first question is. Our first question is, organisms link amino acids in chains called polypeptides and what? So basically we have heard about amino acids. Now what is amino acid? Amino acid, basically they are those organic compounds which have amino group and carboxyl group as their functional group. Amino group is something like this. If any organic compound has NH2 group in it, then we say that it has amino group, and it has also carboxyl group, that is COH group. So remember that in amino acids we have NH2 as well as COOH group, and a polymer of amino acid, it is known as polypeptide, and a big chain, or in fact you can say that the protein, it is made up of long chains of amino acid. So all in all, amino acid, when it links into chain, then it forms polypeptide. When many polypeptides they link together, then they form proteins. Therefore, for question number 1, B is going to be the correct option. Now coming to question number 2. So in question number 2, it has been asked that the rate of chemical reaction depends on. We all know about chemical reaction. So the rate of chemical reaction, it depends on temperature. Obviously, it depends on temperature. In general reactions, if we talk about, then with the increase in temperature, the rate of a chemical reaction, it also increases. Also, the rate of chemical reaction, it depends on pressure. Therefore, we can say that a chemical reaction, or the rate of chemical reaction, it depends both on temperature as well as on pressure. Therefore, correct option is going to be C, that is both A and B. Now coming to question number 3. So in question number 3, it has been asked that bronze is what? Is it an element? Is it a metal? Or it is an alloy of copper and zinc? Or it is an alloy of copper and tin? So bronze, it is definitely an alloy, and it is an alloy of copper and tin. Therefore, for question number 3, D is going to be the correct option. Now let's talk about alloy. What is alloy? So alloy, basically it is a homogeneous mixture. Homogeneous mixture means throughout it has the same composition, and in alloy we can have a mixture of 2 or more chemical elements, but one element should be, at least one element should be a metal. Okay, and generally you will find that it is a mixture, homogeneous mixture of metals. And in alloy, the properties are quite different from the metals from which it is made up of. And bronze is a type of alloy, and it is an alloy of copper and tin. Now moving on to question number 4. So in question number 4, it has been asked that dash is the ore of aluminium. So which among the following is the correct option, or which is an alloy of aluminium? Hematite, siderite and magnetite, they all are ores of iron, while bauxite, it is the ore of aluminium. There are many other ores of aluminium as well, and the other examples of ore of aluminium, it includes corundum, then we have cryolite, then we have alunite, feldspar and many more. So this is about question number 4. Moving on to our next question. It is again related to the ore. So malachite, it is an ore of which of the following elements? So malachite, it is an ore of copper. So C is going to be the correct option. And some other ores of copper, they are cuprite, copper glans, then we have copper pyrite and many more. Now moving on to question number 6. So in question number 6, it has been asked that water, it is a compound of hydrogen and oxygen. We all know that the formula of water is H2O, and it is a compound of hydrogen and oxygen. So the question is that the ratio by weight of these elements in water is, like, what is the ratio of the weight of hydrogen and oxygen which is present in water? We know that the atomic mass of hydrogen is 1, and since we have 2 atoms of hydrogen, so total weight of hydrogen is going to be 2. Talking about the atomic mass of oxygen, then it is 16, and if we take the ratio, then it comes out to be 1:8. Therefore, D is going to be the correct option. Now coming to question number 7. So in question number 7, lead pencils used for writing on paper contents. We all have written with the piece of pencil during our childhood, and we all have seen that there is a black thing which is present in the lead pencils which we use for writing. And that lead pencil, the thing which is used for writing on paper, that contains graphite. So C is going to be the correct option. Now let me tell you something about graphite. What is graphite? Graphite, basically it is an allotrope of carbon. Altogether carbon has 3 allotropes. One is graphite, another one is diamond, and the third one is Buckminster fullerene. Talking about graphite, it is a very good conductor of electricity despite of knowing the fact that carbon is a non-metal, but still graphite is a good conductor of electricity and graphite is soft. So this is about question number 7. Moving on to question number 8. So in question number 8, it has been asked that lysergic acid diethylamide, which is also known as LSD, what it is. So is it used for curing leprosy, or is it a soft drink, or is it a drug that can induce hallucination, or is it a carbohydrate? Well, LSD, that is lysergic acid diethylamide, it is basically a psychedelic drug and it is known for the psychological effects. The psychological effect means it is a drug that can induce hallucination, means something which is not present but we feel that yes, something is present, and that is known as hallucination. So this LSD, it is basically that drug that induces hallucination. Therefore, C is going to be the correct option. Now moving on to question number 9. So in question number 9, it has been asked that with what does a fuel mix in the carburetor of an engine? So generally in the engine or in the carburetor of engine, the fuel, it mixes with air and then it is ignited. Okay. So for question number 9, D is going to be the correct option. Moving on to question number 10. So in question number 10, it has been asked about chemistry. So we all know that chemistry is a science. It is a branch of science and it has been asked that it is which branch of science and it is devoted to the study of what. So definitely it is not typically dedicated to study of paints or it is not dedicated to insects. Basically, chemistry, it is a science which is dedicated to the study of elements. In chemistry, we talks about the various laws that govern the behavior of elements. We talk about chemical compounds. We talk about all the chemical reactions that are taking place on a day-to-day basis. Therefore, question number 10, the correct option is going to be C. That is, chemistry is that branch of science in which we talk about elements and we discuss about the laws that govern the behavior of these elements and about the chemical reactions. Now moving on to question number 11. So in question number 11, we have been asked that which of the following metals has the lowest melting point. So if we talk about the melting point of each one of them, so let me tell you that the melting point of copper, it is 1085 degrees centigrade. Talking about the melting point of lead, it is 327.5 degrees centigrade. Talking about iron, then the melting point of iron is 1538 degrees centigrade, and talking about steel, then it has a melting point of 1370 degrees centigrade. So from this it is very clear that the lowest melting point is that of lead, hence B is going to be the correct option. Now moving on to question number 12. So in question number 12, it has been asked that in some regions, iodide ions, they are added to common salt. Yes, in fact, many times when we see the advertisement of common salt, then it has been said that this salt, it contains iodine and iodide ions. So many times the iodine is added to common salt. And the question arises that why iodine is added? Like what will happen if we will have deficiency of iodine in our body? So there is a problem of deficiency disease that will take place inside our body, and the deficiency of iodine, it basically leads to goiter. Okay, and in order to prevent this disease, we generally add iodide ions to our common salt. So A is going to be the correct option. Talking about goiter, what it is, so it is a deficiency disease, and generally why it happens, because of the enlargement of thyroid gland. We know that thyroid gland, it is present in our neck, and because of enlargement of the size of thyroid gland, the neck, it started swelling. Okay, and this enlargement of thyroid gland, it takes place because of the deficiency of iodine or iodide ion in our food. Therefore, we all should need to ensure that we have proper intake of iodide or iodine in our daily routine or in our daily life, in our diet. Moving on to question number 13. So in question number 13, it has been asked that here under is a given list of materials that are associated with the preparation and distillation of alcoholic beverages. So all in all, 4 options have been given, and some of them are related for the preparation of alcoholic beverages, we have to spot the unconnected material. We have to spot that material which is not related to the preparation and distillation of any alcoholic beverages. So the first one is sugarcane. So we have molasses from sugarcane and it is used for the preparation of alcoholic beverages. So A is not going to be the correct option. Again, potatoes and Vitis vinifera, both of these are used in some way or the other in the preparation and distillation of alcoholic beverages. Essential oil, it is not related to alcoholic beverages at all. Therefore, D is going to be the correct option in this case. Now moving on to question number 14. So in question number 14, it has been asked that a burning candle, it gets extinguished when covered with a tumbler, because. So even you can experiment this, like if you burn a candle and if you cover it with a tumbler or with a glass, then you will find that after some time, the candle, it will stop burning or it will get extinguished. So what is the reason behind this? Is it there is a lack of nitrogen near the candle? No, that is not the case. Is there vacuum? No, vacuum is not created. There is definitely a lack of oxygen near the candle. Since the oxygen supply has been stopped and there is a lack of oxygen, and we know that in order to have combustion or in order to burn a candle, oxygen is very much required. And since we cover the burning candle with a tumbler, there is a lack or there is a deficiency of oxygen, and therefore the candle, it gets extinguished. Therefore C, there is a lack of oxygen near the candle, it is going to be the correct option. Now coming to question number 15. So in question number 15, the conversion of oxygen to ozone takes place because of what? So we know that ozone, it is a very important gas and it is present in our ozone layer, which protects us from harmful ultraviolet rays. So here the question is related to the formation of ozone, that how oxygen gets converted into ozone. So basically the conversion of oxygen to ozone, it takes place because of the absorption of energy. What actually happens, this oxygen, when it goes to the upper layer, or you can say stratosphere, there it absorbs the ultraviolet rays. As a result of absorption of ultraviolet rays, that oxygen molecule, it gets dissociated into oxygen atoms, and then this oxygen atom, nascent oxygen atom, it gets combined with oxygen molecule, and as a resultant we get ozone molecule. And since here you can see that the conversion of oxygen to ozone, it takes place because of absorption of ultraviolet rays or because of absorption of energy. Therefore A is going to be the correct option. Now moving on to question number 16. So in question number 16, food additives and essences that give flavor to foodstuff are. So many times we have many types of additives. We have many kind of essence like vanilla essence and many other that try to give flavor to our foodstuff. Many times when we cook cake or many other items, then in that we try to add essence or some other additive. So from where these additives are obtained? So are these additive obtained from minerals oil? No, they are not obtained from minerals oils. They are definitely obtained from essential oils. Therefore, B is going to be the correct option. Basically, in previous question also we discussed about essential oil. What is essential oil? So basically, essential oil, it is a concentrated hydrophobic liquid. Okay, and such kind of liquid which contains the volatile aroma of aroma compounds from plants. We generally gather essential oil from plants and they have aroma, they have flavor with them, and it is a hydrophobic solution. So this is about question number 16. Moving next to question number 17. So in question number 17, we have to identify the oxidation reaction which is taking among the following. So the first, it is mentioned that Cu2 plus 2 electron is being added and it's get converted into Cu. Well, this is not an oxidation reaction since here gaining of electron is taking place. It is an example of reduction. Here iron is losing electron, and since loss of electron is known as oxidation, therefore B is going to be the correct option. Remember students that we have two basic and very important reactions that takes place in our day-to-day life. One is known as oxidation reaction, another is known as reduction reaction, and both of these are equally important. So what is oxidation reaction? Oxidation reaction is that reaction in which loss of electron takes place. Here you can say that iron Fe, it is losing 2 electrons, and therefore I am saying that here oxidation has taken place. Here copper has gained 2 electron, and gain of electron, it is known as reduction. So here reduction of copper has taken place. You can remember this in the way Leoger. Okay, so here you can remember that loss of electron is known as oxidation, and gain of electron, it is known as reduction. Okay. And when oxidation and reduction, they both take place simultaneously, then we say that it is a redox reaction. Red stands for reduction, ox stands for oxidation. So whenever reduction and oxidation is taking place together or simultaneously, then that reaction is known as a redox reaction. Now moving to question number 18. So question number 18 is, what is coal? So coal, what it is a fossil fuel, and we all know about fossil fuel, that fossil fuel is a type of fuel which is formed from the fossils of organism. And apart from coal, we have petroleum, natural gas, which is also an example of fossil fuel. They have been formed from the fossils of plants and animals and sea organisms. Okay. Moving on to question number 19. So in question number 19, numismatics is a science devoted to the study of. So sometimes these types of questions are also important, and numismatic, basically it is a science which is completely dedicated to the study of coins and metals. Therefore A is going to be the correct option. And talking about the study of number, then it is known as numerology, and palmistry, basically it is the study of palm. So many times when we go to astrology or to see our palm, then the that particular science or that particular study is known as palmistry. Moving on to question number 20. So in question number 20, it has been asked that why is phosphorus kept underwater? So whenever you will see or you will find phosphorus in laboratory, you will find that it is always dipped in water. So what is the reason behind dipping the phosphorus in water? Is it done to keep phosphorus cool? Well, no, that is not true. Why it is done so? Because the phosphorus, it gets burned when exposed to atmosphere. Phosphorus, it is highly, or in fact you can say that it is dangerously reactive in air. So if we will leave phosphorus in the air as it is, then it will catch fire and it can destroy anything. So in order to ensure that phosphorus does not get burned, it is not exposed to atmosphere and it is kept in the water because it is not reactive with the water at all. So for question number 20, B is going to be the correct option. Now coming to question number 21. So question number 21 is, the boiling point of a liquid dash if the pressure decreases. Means here the question has been asked that how the boiling point of a liquid, it gets affected by the pressure. Okay, so first of all, what is boiling point? Boiling point is that, if we talk about in layman's language, then boiling point is that temperature when a liquid starts boiling. But if we talk about in a little technical term, then boiling point is that temperature at which vapor pressure of a liquid is equal to the pressure surrounding the liquid. Okay, and if the pressure decreases, then definitely the boiling point of a liquid, it is also going to be decreased. Hence for question number 21, B, decreases, is going to be the correct option. Coming to question number 22. So question number 22 is, diamond is dash form of carbon. Is it a catalytic? Is it a allotropic, or is it amorphous form of carbon? So the correct option is going to be B, that is diamond, it is an allotropic form of carbon. Now what is allotrope? So allotrope is each of the two or more different physical forms in which an element can exist. Means it is, if we talk about diamond, then it is nothing but it is carbon. Okay, but it is present in a different physical form. And the different allotropes, they have different physical form, they have different physical characteristic, but chemically they are equivalent. Okay, so the chemical properties of allotrope, they are similar, but they have different physical properties. And altogether there are three different allotropes of carbon. One is diamond, another is graphite, and third one is Buckminster Fuller. Now coming to question number 23. So in question number 23, polyvinyl chloride, bakelite, nylon, and orlan, they are examples of what? So PVC, bakelite, nylon, and orlan, they all are examples of plastics. Hence A is going to be the correct option. Coming to question number 24. So in question number 24, burning charcoal in a bad ventilated room is dangerous. So many times when you are living in a closed room or the room which has not proper ventilation, it is suggested that you should not burn charcoal. And it is considered to be even lethal, or you can say dangerous. And what is the reason behind it? Is it because it emits a lot of heat? Because whenever we burn charcoal, a lot of heat is emitted, and that is why people say that it is dangerous. No, that's not the prime reason. Is it because the charcoal it radiates and harms vision? No, that is not true. Is it a risk of being that a big fire will take place? No, that is not. The biggest and the most prominent reason why burning charcoal in a badly ventilated room is prevented, because it emits carbon monoxide. And carbon monoxide, it is an extremely toxic gas, and if a large amount of inhaling of carbon dioxide monoxide takes place, then it can even lead to death. And therefore it is suggested that we should never burn charcoal in a badly ventilated room or in a closed room. Hence, for question number 24, D is going to be the correct option. Coming to question number 25. So in question number 25, it is written that the molecule, yes, molecule, it is defined as the smallest particle of a compound. Okay, and it is that smallest particle which has the properties of a compound. Similarly, atom is also a smallest particle, and it is the smallest particle of an element, and it retains the property of the original substance, or it retains the property of element. Okay, so remember that the smallest particle of an element, it is atom, and the smallest particle of a compound which retain its property, that is molecule. Hence, for question number 25, C is going to be the correct option. Coming to question number 26. So question number 26 is permanent hardness of water. It cannot be removed by, like, why or how we cannot remove permanent hardness. So permanent hardness, it can never be removed by boiling. Temporary hardness can be easily removed by boiling, but permanent hardness, it is very difficult to get removed it with the help of boiling process, because permanent hardness, it is caused by the presence of calcium and magnesium chlorides and sulfates, and they do not simply get decomposed, or they do not get dissolved by boiling. Therefore, permanent hardness, it can never be removed by boiling. Coming to question number 26. Sorry, question number 27. So the question number 27 is the metal which is the oldest in man's use is what? So obviously the one which has been discovered the earliest, that would be the metal which has been used oldest in man's use. So, and the metal which was discovered first by man, that is copper. Therefore C is going to be the correct option. Coming to question number 28. So question number 28 is, which is the least reactive element in the given list? So altogether we have four options: fluorine, oxygen, iodine and nitrogen. And if we compare these, then out of these, fluorine and iodine, oxygen, they are highly reactive. As compared to all these three, nitrogen, it can be selected as the least reactive element. Therefore D is going to be the correct option. Coming to question number 29. So question number 29 is bleaching powder. It produces dash gas when it is mixed with water. So well, bleaching powder, it produces chlorine gas, and this production of chlorine gas, it is responsible for the bleaching action that bleaching powder has. Okay, so for question number 29, B is going to be the correct option. Coming to question number 30. So in question number 30, the toxic component of tobacco that is responsible for the addiction developed among smokers is. We know that if somebody starts smoking tobacco or any other thing, then they become addicted. Even if they want to quit the use of tobacco, then it becomes very difficult for them to do so. Okay, so the question arises that what is that particular component which is very toxic, which is very addictive, because of which smoking is considered to be injurious to health. So that particular toxic component is none other than nicotine. Because of the presence of nicotine, it is considered to be very bad to, it is said that smoking is injurious to health. So B is going to be the correct option. Coming to question number 31. So in question number 31, it has been written that nitrogen, it is used to form an atmosphere in food processing techniques. Many times when you open a packet of chips, you will find that it is like swollen, because in that chips packet or in any other kind of food, you will find that it is packed with the help of nitrogen atmosphere surrounding it. And the reason why nitrogen is used to form an atmosphere in food processing technique is because it is a non-poisonous gas. Obviously, since we are going to eat things, obviously we are going to eat food, we are going to eat chips, and if the gas which is used in that is going to be poisonous, then we cannot use it. So since nitrogen is a non-poisonous gas, therefore it is used to form an atmosphere in food processing techniques. So D is going to be the correct option. Now coming to question number 32. So question number 32 is sulfur is obtained from underground deposits by what? Okay. So the most part of the sulfur that we obtain, and sulfur we use in order to manufacture sulfuric acid, which is a very important chemical. So the sulfur which is obtained from underground deposit, and the method by which sulfur is obtained is known as Frasch process, FRASCH. This is the name of the process by which it is obtained from underground deposit. And in this particular process, what we do, we try to melt sulfur with the help of superheated water, and once it gets melted, then it is pumped out. Okay, so C is going to be the correct option in this case. Moving on to question number 33. So question number 33 is, when heated up, limestone gives off what? So limestone is nothing but calcium carbonate, and whenever we heat calcium carbonate, then it decomposes into calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. And calcium oxide is also known as quicklime, and since CO2 is the gas which is given up by limestone, therefore B is going to be our correct option. Now talking about question number 34. So question number 34, we have to fill in the blanks. The first, it is mentioned that dash forms bubbles in the blood and causes pain. So dash is preferred to be mixed with oxygen in the cylinders of self-containing breathing apparatuses. Spot the correct order of gases that will fit. So altogether, here the question is talking about whenever we go underground, or when we do underwater swimming or something in that, where the pressure of at gas it increases. In that case, the nitrogen, it forms bubble in our blood and it causes a lot of pain. So in order to avoid that pain, or in order to avoid the bubble formation in blood, what it is done, that the breathing apparatus, it is generally mixed with what? It is mixed with helium. Okay, and helium, it is mixed with oxygen so that the nitrogen cannot form the bubble in the blood and we can avoid that pain. Hence the first option, it is going to be nitrogen, and in the second blank it is going to be helium. Hence C is going to be the correct option. Now coming to question number 35. So question number 35 is, hard water, it does not form lather with soap easily. So many times whenever you will try to wash your clothes, you will find that if the water is hard, then if you will try with more and more soap, then still it is not very comfortable to form any kind of lather. Okay, and why it is so? Because of the presence of calcium and magnesium salt which is present in the hard water. Okay, and it makes the soap very difficult to form lather, because whenever we apply soap, then the calcium and magnesium salt which is present in the hard water, they form insoluble compounds, and because of the formation of this insoluble compound, no lather is formed. Hence A, it is going to be the correct option. Moving on to question number 36. So in question number 36 is, transistor set has an internal antenna which is made up of what? So the internal antenna, it is made up of ferrochrome, and ferrochrome, it is basically sometimes also known as ferrochromium, and it is an alloy. In fact, it is a ferroalloy, and from the name itself it is clear that since it is a ferroalloy, definitely it will contain iron, and since it is ferrochrome, it is an alloy of iron and chromium. And how it is produced? It is produced by electric arc carbothermic reduction of chromite, and this ferrochrome, it contains 50 to 70% of chromium by weight. So remember that the internal antenna of transistor, it is made up of this alloy known as ferrochrome or ferrochromium. So B is the correct option. Coming to question number 37. So question number 37 is about Tyndall effect. So Tyndall effect, it is observed in colloidal solutions. So C is going to be the correct option. Basically, Tyndall effect, what it is? It is a light scattering effect in which what happens, the particles of colloidal solution, or sometimes the particles of a very fine suspension, they are able to scatter light, and because of the scattering of light, the path of the light, it becomes visible, and this type of effect is known as Tyndall effect, and it is very prominently observed in colloidal solutions. Coming to question number 38. So question number 38 is about TNT. What is TNT? So TNT, it stands for trinitrotoluene, and it is a type of explosive. It is not a drug, it is not a sedative, it is not a narcotic. So D is going to be the correct option. And this toluene, it looks something like this. It is a very important compound because it is used in dynamite as well. And since it is trinitrotoluene, so this is going to be something like this, CH3, this is toluene. And we have trinitro, one nitro is here, one nitro at 4th position, and another nitro it is at 6th position. So this is how the structure of trinitrotoluene or TNT looks like, and it is an explosive. Coming to question number 39. So question number 39 is picric acid is what? So picric acid, it is basically trinitrophenol, and it is one of the most acidic phenols that we ever have. So basically, what is phenol? If in a benzene ring we have OH group attached to it, then we say that it is phenol. And when 3-nitro group is attached at 2, 4 and 6 position, then this particular compound, it is known as picric acid, and chemically it is trinitrophenol, and it is highly acidic in nature. Coming to question number 40. So question number 40 is the purest form of iron is. So if we talk about, there are like 4 different forms in which iron is present. Iron can be present in the form of steel, in the form of cast iron, wrought iron or pig iron. So the most purest form of iron is C, that is wrought iron. It is a very tough, malleable form of iron, and it is nearly very pure. And how it is obtained? It is obtained by puddling pig iron when it is molten. Okay, so remember, the purest form of iron, it is wrought iron. Coming to question number 41. So question number 41 is identify the anti-knock compound which is used in automobile fuel. So first of all, let's discuss about anti-knock compound. What is anti-knock compound or anti-knocking agent? So anti-knocking agent is basically a gasoline additive, okay, and it is used, since it is anti-knocking agent, so definitely it is used to reduce the knocking of engine. And how it reduces it? So because of the property it has, it reduces the knocking in the engine, and it also enhances the octane number or the octane rating of the fuel. Okay, and the most commonly used anti-knocking agent, it is lead tetraethyl. So B is going to be the correct option. Coming to question number 42. So question number 42 is spot red lead. What is the chemical formula of spot red lead? So the chemical formula of spot red lead is PV3O. D is the correct option. Chemistry, we have a lot of formulas, we have a lot of chemical compound and their name. So remember that the spot red lead is PV3O4. Coming to question number 43. So question number 43 is identify baking soda. So the chemical formula of baking soda is NaHCO3, that is sodium hydrogen carbonate. Sometimes it is also known as sodium bicarbonate. So A is going to be the correct option. NaOH, it is sodium hydroxide. Na2CO3, it is sodium bicarbonate. And if we have 10 water of crystallization in it, then it will be known as washing soda. Then we have NaCl, which is common salt or sodium chloride. Coming to question number 44. So question number 44 is the most electropositive element is. So if we talk about in these 4, hydrogen, magnesium, calcium and silicon, then out of these 4, the most electropositive element is calcium. So C is going to be the correct option. And if we talk in the entire periodic table, then cesium, it is the most electropositive element. Coming to question number 45. So question number 45 is of the following, which is the most electronegative element? So out of these 4, out of carbon, fluorine, nitrogen and iodine, definitely chlorine, it is the most electronegative element. But if we talk about the entire periodic table, then fluorine, it is the most electronegative element of the periodic table. Coming to question number 46. So question number 46 is the mean salt content of different seas is 3.5%. Means altogether in different seas, it has been found that the percentage of salt which is present in the sea, it is 3.5%. If we talk about the percentage or the content of common salt in the sea, then it is somewhat nearly 2.7%. So C is going to be the correct option. Coming to question number 47. So question number 47 is the gas which is responsible for swelling of bread is. So the gas which we have in our bread, because of which the bread swells, that is carbon dioxide. D is going to be the correct option. Whenever we prepare bread, then we use baking soda, baking powder, and whenever the reaction of baking soda, baking powder take place with water, or whenever they are heated, then they release carbon dioxide, and the fluffiness or the swelling of bread is because of the presence of carbon dioxide. Coming to question number 48. So question number 48 is the most common elements which is present in the crust of earth are. So the three most common elements which are present in earth crust, they are oxygen, silicon and iron. Therefore B is going to be the correct option. Coming to question number 49. Question number 49 is when wood is burned. So what happens when we burn a wood? So generally it produces ash, it produces smoke, it produces carbon dioxide and it produces carbon monoxide as well. So C is going to be the correct option. Coming to the 50 and the final question. So it has been asked that in an urban area, which of the following sets of gases it is responsible for pollution? We know that in urban area we have a number of industries, we have a number of vehicles, and because of this a large number of gases are being emitted which is responsible for pollution. And the majority of the gas which is responsible for pollution, they include carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide. These are the three prominent gases which are responsible for the pollution that we find in urban areas. So B is going to be the correct option. So these are the 50 questions and very important questions. I hope you enjoyed this video lecture. That's all for today. Thank you very much.